Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy Luke here for another Showdown live stream. Now for our Friday picks for the Bermuda Championship. So what we'll do here is we'll talk weather for tomorrow. We'll talk about any changes to our modeling and of course our favorite plays for the single game slate. So hopping right into it for you guys here. Let's start off with the weather. Going to go ahead and share my screen here. So you guys can see I have the weather up for tomorrow, the hourly weather. This is for Southampton, which is the town where the golf course is, Port Royal. And today was horrible conditions. We were dealing with 30 to 40 mile an hour winds for the first 3 or 4 hours of play. Ended up dying down to around 25, 30, and then down to 20 for the rest of the day. So you saw the average score go from 3.5 over par the whole way down to just happy stroke over par. A lot of people were getting it in the afternoon. You saw Brendan Hagee go out, shoot 6 under. You have a whole laundry list of people there at 4 under. So overall, that's how we're expecting it to play tomorrow, perhaps even easier. The reason why is if we take a look at this weather report here, first off, early in the morning, 12 mile an hour winds. So even softer than what we saw in the afternoon. It's about 20 mile an hour right now, which actually still has the course pretty difficult. You can see by 9 a.m. down to 9 mile an hour gusts, up to 12 mile an hour at the most. When you get towards midday, it goes from 8 to 10. And then by the afternoon, when they're going to be finishing up, goes from 8 to 10 as well. So rather than it being twice as fast for the entire day, rather than it being 30, 40 miles an hour in the morning, that kind of thing, you're going to be dealing with much softer conditions. The good part about scoring for tomorrow as well is that a lot of the changes that they made to the course to prepare for today are still going to be lasting tomorrow. So first and foremost, the golf course is extremely soft. They've put tons of water on it. They've made sure to make it as receptive as humanly possible. They've also done that to make sure that they can slow down these greens. These greens are running about a 9.5 right now, which is completely unheard of for a PGA Tour event. You're typically dealing with stint meter readings going from 11, sometimes even up to 14, 14.5. For them to get even at a 10 or below a 10 literally never happens. The only reason they've done so is because of the wind gusts that we had here this morning. They would not have even been able to play without it. I mentioned that in my live stream yesterday. I said they're either going to have to delay play and wait until the afternoon, or they're going to have to make these greens extremely soft. They wanted to get play done in time, so they obviously went with the softer option, and that is going to have lasting effects on this golf tournament for the rest of the weekend. So the wind is supposed to die down tomorrow. It's supposed to pick up a little bit on Saturday to around 15 to 20 miles an hour and then die back down on Sunday. That means that tomorrow and Sunday are going to be extremely gettable. This golf course is going to let up scores to what we saw at Caves Valley. If you guys remember that, it was extremely wet right there. You're dealing with a resort style golf course. That was a Tom Fazio design. This is obviously a Robert Trent Jr. design, so a little bit different, but very gettable golf courses that are meant for me and you. They're not meant for these PGA Tour players. So tomorrow we're going to look at a winning score, probably closer to 3.5, maybe even 4 under par. It's going to be drastically different. When you're not dealing with 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour winds, these players are going to absolutely take this place apart. It's extremely short. There's going to be 3 or 4 holes tomorrow that are probably drivable. If 1 or 2 of them are downwind, potentially even 5 of them. Brendan Hagee went after a bunch of the greens today, despite being into the wind for quite a few of them. So tomorrow is going to open up quite a few interesting situations in terms of our modeling. In terms of the stats that we've weighted differently, we're definitely taking less of a look at bogey avoidance. Tomorrow, we're going to be taking more of a look at scoring. So birdie or better percentage is probably the number one stat that we're boosting. We're also going to be boosting our approach play. And it comes down to this. When you have a soft golf course like this, especially one that's made as soft as it is in this current state to kind of combat those windy conditions, balls are going to hit on the green. They're either going to spin back or plug in place. What that does is that prioritizes people that are really precise with their iron play. They're able to go out there, stick the ball to 4 or 5 feet, and that's how they go out there and score. Where you see some of the worst approach players, some of the guys that are more of short game specialists tend to excel, is when you have fast greens, because when they miss, they can use some of the contours on the green to get it close to the green, close to the hole, sorry. They don't have to rely on their precision, which they usually lack. So tomorrow, rather than looking at some of those plotters, which we looked at for round 1, we're probably going to be taking more of a look at bomb and gouge, bomb birdie or better percentage type players, people that go out there and can score, particularly with their approach play. So keep that in mind. That is the changes that we're going to be doing from round 1 to round 2. What I want to do next is I want to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the player poll. Real quickly, before we hop into it, I guess I'll just show you guys this. I want to refresh this just to make sure we're still in good standing here. My team, show only mine. Yeah, you guys can see this is the GPP we win. I decided to just enter the 50-cent GPP, max enter it for $75. Massive mistake. I'm in first place, 3rd, 6th, 7th, 10th, 11th. I mean, the top 50 is just riddled with my entries. Slightly regretting the fact that I didn't go to my usual allotment of at least 750 or something like that, but is what it is. Let's get over to the player poll for tomorrow. At the top of the board, obviously very similar to what we saw going into this week. Again, we're looking for people that can do a little bit more scoring. So Balmita Pereira wasn't somebody I was targeting going into this week. In fact, he was actually one of my fades. Didn't really play well today. He was in the afternoon wave as well, so you would have expected him to go out and be able to score. For tomorrow, not anyone, pretty much people are going to stay off of him, right? It's a little bit scary to see that. He was playing in some easy conditions, but the truth is there's not a lot of wind out there. This golf course should set up for his approach play very well. I mean, this guy goes out, he routinely gains 4, even 5 strokes on approach on a weekend. And for Showdown, that's what you're looking for. This guy can make a ton of birdies. It's one of the highest birdie or better percentage players in this field. So at $9,900, you could use him as a little bit of ownership leverage. If in terms of a safe play up top, probably Matt Fitzpatrick, right? So he went off this morning and he still shot even par. I believe that was the 3rd best round of anybody in the morning wave. Only 3 or 4 people, I believe maybe even 1 or 2, I'll have to double check after this, shot under par in the morning wave. It was absolute decimation. To shoot anything better than 1 or 2 over par was good. So for Matt Fitzpatrick right there, a lot of people that are just scoreboard watching, taking a look at the leaderboard after today, aren't going to think that he put up a very good round. But in reality, if he was playing in the afternoon, he probably shoots 4, maybe even 5 under par. And the beauty of us playing Showdown here is it doesn't matter what happened on round 1. It's just the quality of play. Sometimes guys go out there, get a little bit unlucky. And this is a key example of somebody getting a little bit unlucky. Let's talk about Patrick Reed. I mean, the guy holed out for an eagle on one of the holes coming down the stretch. That was pretty cool to see. He's $9,700. He's not the best course fit for tomorrow. Again, I'm looking for guys that do it with their approach play. The reason why Reed went out and had a good day today is he's a gamer. Right? He goes out there, gets the ball in the hole. So when you have really tough conditions, he's one of the few people that you can rely on to get the job done. So that's why I liked him going into this weekend. I don't love him for tomorrow's slate. Again, just because we're expecting soft conditions. Taylor Pendrick is a very solid option. He went off in the morning and still shot 1 under. He was one of those few people to actually go out there and have a good round. He's $9,200. He's not seemingly the best course fit, but in terms of pedigree, is head and shoulders above a lot of his peers here. Guido Migliozzi, he's playing all right now. He's still out on the golf course. He's even par right now. $8,500. I think that's fair for him. This guy's been an absolute stud when we've seen him on the PGA Tour. Also not garnering as much ownership as he should. Just haven't seen him very often. A lot of the more casual players. So the lower stakes that you're playing, the lower owned he's going to be, because it's really just some of the more diehards in the sphere that really know of him. So keep that in mind as well. He's going to be relatively low owned depending on the stakes that you're playing. Steven Yeager did not have a very good day today. He's not somebody I'm targeting here for round 2, just because he's not fitting that approach skill set, right? This is more of a short game specialist. Somebody I was targeting going into the week. He had a decent round today. He's within the cut line at the very least. Just not a scorer with his irons, right? He does it more with his putting and whatnot. Russell Knox, I told everyone to fade him. Obviously wasn't expecting 30, 40 mile an hour winds. But yeah, he didn't really put up anything special in that wind anyways, right? So he's known for that wind play. People probably expected him to go out there, shoot under par or something like that. That I didn't see that happen. His putting on Bermuda is worrisome, to say the least. Ryan Armour, you could do a whole lot worse than going to Ryan Armour. He's a good course fit here. It's more of a plotter, but also does it with high birdie or better percentage. It's extremely aggressive. Also relatively good with his iron play. Garrick Higgo looks like the Garrick Higgo of old. The guy was firing at every single pin this afternoon from what they were showing on TV and was sinking everything. So I love going to Garrick Higgo in this circumstance here. Good price tag there. Obviously, I think he's going to be a lot higher owned than we've seen over the past 2 or 3 tournaments. After that performance, especially for those that watched it on TV, it was rather impressive. So I like going there. Let's see what else we got. Hank Libbiota showed me exactly what I was looking for this morning. He played in those hard conditions and shot even par. So again, if you're just scoreboard watching, if you're just taking a look at the leaderboard, you probably don't think that's such a good round, but in that morning wave, that was excellent. Much closer to a 3 or 4 under round in reality. Matthee Smith was absolute dog crap today. He's good on short golf courses, so you can blame it on the wind, right? You probably went out there. If somebody's an approach specialist and they're dealing with a lot of wind that they're not used to, probably not going to be a good day for them. But tomorrow, he's dealing with 9 to 12 mile an hour winds. That's going to be more. He's going to be able to take advantage of that. So somebody I don't mind going back to. He saw a price increase as well, so nobody's going to own him. And in Showdown, those are the kind of guys you want to go to. Often Barat played good today. wasn't really expecting that. I played him in my player pool, but I didn't think it was the sexiest pick, but ended up working out there. I guess you could go back that way. Brian Stewart's somebody I would definitely try to target. He played in that morning wave, so he shot 4 over. So you think that his game's in shambles, but it really only fell apart in the last 2 holes. He ended up double bogeying par 5 because he hit it in hazard twice, and then bogeyed the last hole probably because he was pissed off. So again, that +4 looks a whole lot worse than it was in reality. It's a lot closer to just 1 over par, and in those hard conditions, it was actually a very good round. Camilo Villegas also fell victim to the wind. So you can see he shot +6 today. It's not somebody I'm avoiding. I mean, a lot of those guys in that morning wave, they were subjected to some unfair conditions. I mean, some of these guys that are 2 under, 1 under here had dog shit rounds compared to the guys that even shot 6 over. It's almost an unfair comparison. So if you're looking at today's scores to try and figure out who to play for tomorrow, you're doing it wrong. Unless you have a clear understanding of who played in the morning and who played it in the afternoon, which is widely available. It's very easy to do that kind of research, but you're going to see a ton of the public hover around those afternoon players. They're going to try and target them and go see, oh, this guy shot 400. He's $6,200. Let's play him. When in reality, is much closer to maybe a 1 under par. And that guy that shot 3 over in the morning, in terms of shots gained to the field, actually shot better. So just keep that in mind. You always want to take a look at how they played as compared to the field. I'm going to go down to the bottom now. Let's see if there's any value plays that we can target down low. A lot of these guys you do not want any part of. I think the first name I would even slightly consider would be Ted Potter Jr. Played in the morning, did not have a good round, but at least has a slightly good course fit here. You know, he's not one of the longer players on tour, but he's extremely good with his wedge play and his approach play. Top 5 in the field in shots gained approach. So if we're heavily weighing that tomorrow, and birdie or better percentage, I don't think he's the worst pick as a complete flyer at $6,100. $6,100. Sorry about that. Let's keep going up. Let's see what we got. These names I'm not loving, to be quite honest with you. Let's see, John Pack, $6,600. He didn't have the best day today, right? So he's a younger player, somebody who's playing it for the 4th time on the PGA Tour, missed the cut in his first 3 starts. He's notoriously good on Bermuda grass. He was a prolific winner in college. And a lot of times when you see those prolific winners, they end up translating that into a lot of success. So John Pack, I believe he had 1 hole today where he shot 4 over par. He hit 3 bunker shots that landed in the bunker. Took him 4 to get out. I can relate to that. I can say that at the very least. That +6 round, again, looked a lot worse than it was in reality. So he's one of those guys who got beat up by the wind in round 1 that he can kind of freewheel it tomorrow. You know, he's not expecting to make a cut. If he's going to go out and make a cut, he's going to have to shoot 5 or 6 under par, probably at the very least. Maybe 4 under par. Maybe it's a 2 over par cut line. But I see it going back to maybe 1 over par, potentially even. Just with the conditions that we expect tomorrow. This is going to be a completely different golf course. So, yeah, he's not going to expect to make the cut. But the beauty about Friday Showdown is it doesn't matter if he makes the cut. If he goes out there and he shoots 5 under par and misses the cut on the line, that is going to be more than enough to be optimal tomorrow. 5 under par is going to be right around where the leader score. I'm expecting somebody to probably shoot 8 under par tomorrow, maybe 9 under par if they have a really special round. You're going to see 5 to 6 people probably shoot 7, 6 under par, that kind of range. And then you're going to see a whole bunch, 20, 30 people probably shoot 4 or 5 under par. So that should be your goal for a player tomorrow. You should hope that they score about 5 under par for them to be in your GPP lineup. And I definitely think he has more than enough outs to get there. Luke Donald played really well today. So you can see, I'm saying that about a guy who shot 1 over. But that was in the morning wave. So a lot more impressive than it looks on the surface. Peter Malnati, he played in the afternoon. He shot even par. I don't really love the play. If we're looking at iron play and birdie or better percentage, he's going to pop. But again, he was playing in the afternoon. He shot even par. In reality, that's a pretty dog crap round. Let's see. Honestly, that's it. Yeah. So we talked about most of the guys that I feel confident playing. I'd throw Aaron Ryan there. He had a decent round today. He played in the wind. He shot even par. You can go back to Brian Gay, right? A lot of people are going to avoid him. He was last year's winner. He shot 4 over par. Same kind of situation. That was in the morning. This guy knows he has to go out there, free will it tomorrow, go out there, shoot 4 or 5 under par. So he's at least going to be motivated to do so. Go Jason Duffner too. Same kind of story. The guy's really good with his irons. And Duffner's a guy who's extremely volatile, can go out there, gain 2 or 3 strokes with his putting and have a massive day. So I don't hate that at all. So that's all we've got here for our Showdown picks, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by as always. Good luck with all of your lineups for tomorrow. If you guys are watching this on replay and you have any questions at all, feel free to go ahead and put them down in the comments and I'll get to them when I see them. So